Greetings everyone, and today we are going to discuss about vacuoles. So, what are vacuoles? Vacuoles are basically uh, vacuoles are fluid filled organelles, fluid filled organelles which are present in plant cells primarily. Also, these are present in the animal cells. In animal cells, these are present in minorly in the form of small vacuoles, but in plant cells they form a large central vacuole, particularly in the mature permanent plant tissues plant cell. In that case, vacuole is basically formed by vacuole is a part of endomembrane system and is formed by the action of Golgi body by the action of Golgi body and endoplasmic reticulum together. Apart from which, in animal cells, it is also made during the process of endocytosis by the plasma membrane, which we are going to discuss further as well. So, vacuole is a fluid-filled organelle which is present in plant cells primarily, out of which the fluid-filled organelles, fluid-filled oops, filled organelles contains non-protoplasmic fluid. There is fluid-filled non-protoplasmic organelle, which means it is a fluid. It contains fluid, which is non-protoplasmic fluid, which means that this fluid is non-living fluid. It does not have any component, any particular living component which performs metabolic activities. As there is no metabolic activity, it is non-living, non-protoplasmic fluid. It is a fluid which is other than protoplasm inside the vacuole. It is the storehouse of cell, apart from which uh, it is a storehouse of cell and maintains the support and provides mechanical support to the cell as well. Provides mechanical support to cell, apart from which it is also involved in the process of maintaining cell shape. It helps in the process of maintaining the cell shape and support the cell, which we are going to further discuss how. And when it comes to its anatomy, it is structured in such a manner that here um, the fluid part, the liquid part of the fluid, the liquid part of the fluid of vacuole, also known as the hyaloplasm of vacuole, liquid part, fluid part of vacuole, also known as the hyaloplasm of vacuole, contains water and minerals, contain water and minerals, and these water and minerals are present inside the hyaloplasm fluid part of vacuole, which is also known as cell shape. And now let us discuss about its structure. Its structure is in such a manner that it is covered with a membrane, which is which is a selectively permeable membrane, especially known as tonoplast. Now, tonoplast is a selectively permeable membrane. Tono means word tono refers to stress. Tono refers to tonicity. Plast refers to the organization or membrane. So here, tono and plast collectively refers to a membrane which maintains the tonicity of the cell in such a manner that here as we are having the diagram uh, of a cell in which vacuole is there. Now, basically, vacuole is having a storehouse of cell, which means it stores the storage material inside the cell. And during animal cells during endocytosis, basically there is, for suppose this is an animal cell, And within that animal cells, whenever a material is taken inside, that material is taken inside by uh, engulfing that material, due to which the extension of plasma membrane is attached over that material, due to which that material causes itself, as the material is attached over that the plasma membrane's extension covers up that material, engulfs it, it causes to form a vesicle, and that vesicle, which is engulfed inside the the material engulfed inside the cell in the form of vesicle is known as vacuole, which is in case of amoeba, when it engulfs its food, then it is known as a food vacuole, and then undergoes a process of digestion, or it can also be a contractile vacuole, which is mostly present inside the cell. Apart from which, when it comes to this the other part, this is how the plasma membrane forms the vacuoles. Apart from which, when it comes to its turgidity, how does it maintain the turgidity of cell? It maintains the turgidity of cell in such a manner that here, uh, this is a cell in which there is a vacuole, and that vacuole present in the center part of cell causes to exert, as vacuole is larger in size, present in center of cell, causes to exert pressure. This vacuole which is present in the center of cell, and that causes to exert a pressure over the cytosol of the cell. As it causes to exert a pressure on the cytosol of the cell, the cytosol of the cell causes to be collide. So here the cytosol causes to be collided with the cell membrane, due to which there's a pressure exerted over the cell wall. Sorry, a pressure is exerted over the cell wall by the cytosol due to the action of vacuoles, which is known as a hydrostatic pressure, or we can also call it as a turgor pressure, hydrostatic pressure, which is a pressure due to the water, due to the cytosol liquid. And here this cytosol liquid causes to exert a hydrostatic pressure or turgor pressure, which is by virtue of the vacuole. And on the other side, when hydrostatic pressure is applied, the cell wall applies pressure on the cytosol in opposite direction, which is known as the wall pressure. So in this case, when hydro in this case when hydrostatic pressure is equal to the wall pressure, it causes the turgidity of the cell to remain constant, and in that case, uh, pressure is generated, which is known as osmotic pressure, which is known as the osmotic pressure, and that osmotic pressure is reverse of endoosmosis. There is a reverse of endoosmosis in such a manner that here, when material is when water is taken inside the cell, there is the process of taking inside the water in the cell. As the water is taken inside the cell, that causes to the vacuole to push the water towards the cell wall, due to which it exerts hydrostatic pressure, and wall exerts pressure known as wall pressure. When both of these are equal, it causes to form osmotic pressure, and that osmotic pressure indicates that there is no further need of endosmosis within the cell, due to which endosmosis is stopped, inhibited, due to which it is a reverse of endosmosis. Apart from which, we are having another terminology over here, that here, um, inside the cell, it is basically small. It comes inside the young mature, in the young plant cells, as well as in animal cells. It is present in the form of small vacuoles, especially in young plant cells. It is present in small form of small vacuoles, and these small vacuoles in young plant cells are collectively combined together in order to form a large central vacuole in the permanent tissues of the cell, and the permanent tissues of the cell and mature plant cells. Let me draw it with the help of a diagram as well. For suppose this is a stem, and within the stem we might have seen there is a leaf, and that leaf, even though it is attached with the stem, it is perpendicular to the stem but does not fall over the ground. It does not turn in such a manner, it does not become fallen off. It does not shades off. It does not comes in this direction. It only remains perpendicular to the stem. So as it remains perpendicular to the stem, this is only because of the plant cells having a large central vacuole. As these are mature cells of permanent tissues, they contain large central vacuole, which causes to provide mechanical support to the cells of leaf, due to which the leaf is then able to maintain its position within with respect to gravity in order to become perpendicular to the stem. Apart from which, these are a few points I like to discuss here. Apart from which, another function of a vacuole is such that vacuole contains some vacuoles also contain a protection of plants, as sometimes when herbivores come to eat plants, then these plant store some poisonous material inside their vacuole, poisonous materials in vacuole, poisonous material inside the vacuole. As there is poisonous material stored inside the vacuole, that as there is poisonous material stored inside the vacuole, poisonous material which is stored inside the vacuole, due to which the herbivores, whenever they try to eat the plant, they either causes herbivores to become intoxicated, or they feel discomfort while eating the plant, due to which they avoid eating it. So they provide protection to the herbivore, to the plants from the herbivores. Apart from which, it maintains rigidity of the cell. It maintains, that's the storehouse of cell, as well as its major function is to maintain the rigidity of cell, provide mechanical support to the cell, act as a storehouse for the cell, as well. Protection is also its major function. Protection is also its function, and apart from this, it also helps in the process of controlling the amount of water and minerals within the cell. Apart from which, it also helps in the process of it also helps in the process of, basically it's not having any of its own enzyme, it's having no enzymes inside it. It is having no enzymes inside it. That is why whenever a food vacuole is formed, it first goes to lysosome for digestion. um, that's all about this video. Hopefully we meet again in another